If anybody's curious, Mahmood entered the studio 0.07 seconds ago. And I just turned on the live.
We're here. We're here.
Why? It's definitely left over from my time in the military, I think, and how I was raised. If I'm late, I just can't. I start to get anxiety. If I say something is supposed to be at a time, if I don't say when something is supposed to be, I don't care. Like I'll get there when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this at this time, if I'm late for it, oh man, it freaks me out badly. I don't know why. It's always been this way.
And I was just grilled online in public for being late.
No, I'm not grilling you.
Meanwhile, somebody else isn't even here.
That's true. To be fair, Connor has a doggy emergency. At least that's what we were told, which I believe him. I don't see why he would lie about that. So no, I'm not.
Another grilling online. He's in a boss mode today.
I'm in a mood.
Grilling left and right.
No, I'm not.
Whatever. That's all
like
right. I'm sorry I was late. I'm here now.
I didn't feel like I was grilling you. I mean, technically, you weren't late.
All right. We didn't get to chat before the podcast.
Yeah,
we usually have a 5-minute chat.
We can like ease into things.
In all fairness, we almost had the podcast on the phone earlier today.
Well, we almost had a different podcast on the phone earlier. Yes, we did. Yeah, Mahmood and I just started ranting to each other basically on the podcast, or not on the podcast, on FaceTime earlier. So, yeah. How's the rest of your morning been since I saw you last?
I'm still staring at a blind leaderboard that's driving me nuts.
Is that where we're starting?
Yes.
Okay.
Why is the leaderboard still blind?
Oh my god! Because it doesn't become unblind until like noon.
Why?
Because that's how they set it.
No, let's just, if the end of the submission date is whatever, yesterday at 7, then we go at 7 live.
So context here is Mahmood despises blind leaderboards.
I was just like, I understand why they were made. It's sad that we're at that point where people are sniping results to that extent. But
dude, in the TFX qualifiers, the first week, like an hour before the scores were due, Hannah Black had her scores in and Laura Driscoll had her scores in. And I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying what happened, or at least what I'm 90% certain happened from the leaderboard. I'm 90% certain Laura Driscoll went and redid a workout in the last hour of the qualifier to then be first after the first week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's sniping. So I'm okay with a blind leaderboard until the submission deadline, and then put it out. You want to fix anything later, fix it later, but put it out. It's been 12 hours. I
like the blind leaderboard because of score sniping, but I do see why it's a give and take. A known leaderboard is nice because you can start to get an idea of where scores are falling.
Yeah.
With a blind leaderboard, you truly just do not know unless you can, reach out to somebody, somebody else doing them. You can kind of compare your scores, your skill level, all that stuff.
Yeah. And then it's also like there's the submission deadline, and then when does the leaderboard show up? And then there's the announcement of the next workout. It's just too many things happening.
It's all at once. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's all in a matter of like 12 hours. So you feel like you're just in this for 24 hours.
Just in limbo the whole time.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the Fittest of the Coast qualifier workouts? Do we want to do that? I don't know if we should do that.
Last time we talked about something like that.
Last time I talked about competitions workouts in any way, shape, or form, it was not received very well at all.
Yeah. We're just going to say it's been challenging.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. We don't need to
analyze the programming.
People get really sensitive about.
I mean, honestly, like if I were to just be completely honest, like there's nothing wrong with the tests. They're just hard, and
sure.
Based on what everything has happened, I would assume that the next one to come is a lifting based.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, if not,
If not, we're gonna make a podcast.
yeah, we might make a podcast about that. And if not, I hope there's not a barbell over 185, 125 at the competition, or people are just gonna get bodied.
Yeah.
I think too, like I have a big personality when it comes to programming. I'm very passionate about programming. It's also like,
In
it's
case
just
you guys
something.
didn't know, that's all he does for a living.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Like, we reviewed and kind of had a hot take on some programming this last summer.
Reviewed / replaced.
Put it out there publicly, and it's like my viewpoint on it is, I'm not trying to be a dick.
Strong language.
Writing workouts is what is literally a significant portion of how I put food on my plate, right? Like, outside of like the nuts and bolts of coaching movement and strategy and shit like that, like writing programming is a large part of how I make my living, right? At a professional level, like, coaches who are seasoned in this space have a right or grounds to stand on to review and discuss and point out programming for qualifiers and competitions. What happened to your audio? Your audio just went poo-poo.
Can you hear me?
You sound like you're far away now. Did you unplug your mic or something?
No. Can you hear me?
You're just very, very quiet. You were louder before.
Yeah, I don't know.
How strange. I guess I'll crank your volume. Your volume
Is that better?
a little bit.
How's that?
Same.
How's that?
That's better.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, like, it's
Pre-show analysis or post-game analysis, kind of like that professionalism when coaches get to say, have an opinion about what's happening.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, and because there are people in the greater media ecosphere, so to speak, that review programming and talk about workouts all the time, and it's just like, it's generally accepted. But there seems to be this, I guess, like, not a lot of coaches do it, or a lot of programming.
I was gonna say they're
companies do
usually
it.
not coaches,
Yeah, so like,
right?
who are you? Not to
Right.
be rude, but like, yeah, you might have been in the space for a while and you like are passionate, but I mean, it's just
Well, I mean,
it's just different. It's just different, and it's not meant to come off like dickish. It's just like,
so I think what is happening in the media is that it comes off that way. We're like, we're gonna make fun of you, or we're gonna like basically undermine what you did. Meanwhile, what we wanted to do is provide a more technical view, analytical view.
it's a critique.
A critic, yeah. So I would say we probably have an idea here on our hands where we have a, technical coach coalition that does a analysis for competitions and programming. And
Well, yeah, like JR and Taylor do that on Shut Up and Scribble. They'll review like competition programming, and Chase Ingram and Bill Grundler do it too. And Chase Ingram and Bill Grundler do a really good job. I really enjoy how they dissect programming. And it's just this, like, it's just the same thing. Like, anyways, that was not necessarily where that conversation was supposed to go.
all in all, Fittest of the Coast qualifiers have been hard, challenging.
Yeah, they're hard workouts for sure.
Right, and they're all really requiring you to, like, even I'm doing the qualifiers myself. I think a lot of them come to how hard do you want to push in the last like 4 minutes of the workout.
The one this last week with the double under shoulder overhead and toe to bar is disgusting.
Yeah,
that's a disgusting, like, you're just at threshold for, so like, you're holding on by a thread by the end of the workout.
mm-hmm.
Like, whether you're elite or not.
I came close to failing a shoulder to overhead yesterday.
Yeah,
at 135.
Yeah, which is not like, it's not heavy.
Right. No. Like I can shoulder to overhead
And
double that.
I think that is something people are experiencing who are stronger than you, right? They're just going so fast that almost everybody's getting to that point. But
Yeah.
So yeah, TFX qualifiers wrapped up. How did you feel about those? We didn't really get to discuss those. How did you feel about the TFX qualifier workouts?
Without trying to trigger anybody, I think week 1 was a really good week.
Sure.
I think the combination of workouts were really good. Week 2 had some things I would like to like revisit or maybe discuss further when it comes to even just like standards or the lack of standards.
The
and
wall
some
walks. The wall walks were crazy.
Yeah.
The wall walks were crazy.
I mean, it was kind of nice to see the creative side of athletes, but
yeah, but also crazy.
right.
Yeah,
like not mad, but we probably shouldn't do that again, right? Like,
so with that workout, I ended up really liking the jump over.
The
hop or the pipe clear. I really liked that. I didn't love it on paper. And then seeing it kind of play out and seeing athletes do it, I did really enjoy that as a movement. I think
definitely different than box jump overs. It had some element of fear, some element of consistency, some element of like rhythmic.
I think it was a little bit, I don't know if it was a little bit more of an athletic movement than like a box clear, but
it's definitely less risky than a box clear.
Right. And I really liked it for that. And if they take that and then like at the competition, they have some sort of a clear, I would really enjoy, like, I would like that. Like that's immediately where my head went was, okay, they're going to have box clears to some length or height for various divisions. Like, I don't know if you do, because for the women, it was a 30 and the men was a 36. I don't think you do 36-inch box clears.
No.
But you maybe go 24, 30 inches long. Right. And like, I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know if they'll plan to do that. I don't know if they kind of think about it that way, but yeah, I ended up liking that.
Max box clear height.
Yeah, I just, yeah, it would be cool to see. I mean, obviously they just did clears at Crash. And I've always been a decent fan of box clears. I program them every now and then for people. Typically I don't program them, I think, for a lot of people often because they're just incredibly taxing. Like most people are just honestly not fit enough to do a decent amount of them. They're just going to slow down so much.
And also, like, I think at some volume, the risk versus rewards is higher. Like, joint impact, knees, Achilles, all that.
They beat you up. They're hard. Like,
yeah. So, like, at some, like, hard. I think TFX had more volume than I would have normally programmed. I didn't hate it, but I think, like, that was kind of the perfect volume. More than that would be a little too much.
Especially at the height they programmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked week 1 as well. I really liked the gymnastics workout, obviously. I thought that was a really good, intense workout.
Yep.
What was really interesting about that workout, and this is how you guys know I'm just borderline weird. If you go back to the leaderboard and you look at people's tie break time and then where they ended up finishing, it is mind blowing how many people just went so hard in the beginning and then their bar muscle ups took them an eternity. Like an eternity to do 20 bar muscle ups.
I also will say, like, that workout had the spectrum or the curve was all over the place.
Like it really was.
People who ranked really well overall, some of them did not do that well at all on that workout.
Some of them, that was like their worst finish. I was like, what? It was just interesting. Like there were athletes that I had doing the qualifier who would beat people, who ended up beating people on that workout. And the people they beat, maybe by 10, 15 seconds, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But the individual that they ended up beating got to the bar muscle ups like a minute before them.
Mhm.
Or a minute and a half before them. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah, that's a lot.
you almost certainly could have went faster if you slowed down earlier.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting about that workout. It was like the rep schemes were just small enough where it just baited people really good. What else did we have on week 2? We had the lifting, the squat total thing. And then what was the other? Oh, the dumbbell snatch, double under, total bar, step over. I liked that piece. It was classic CrossFit.
Yeah. It was just a grindy workout. I feel like they have kind of one of those every year, like that dumbbell snatch, lunges, burpee, box jump overs the other day or the other year.
Yeah, I liked that workout. Yeah, TFX qualifiers went well overall. I liked I think they were relatively simple. They've had other years where the workouts were a little more complicated, but the qualifiers were pretty straightforward. Did what they needed to do. I think they were relatively well rounded. We had the 20-minute workout week 1. You could say it kind of came down to a hang clean workout, which I would agree with, or a hang snatch workout, but there was also a lot of fitness in that workout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of rowing.
Yeah, like the row wasn't overly important in that workout, but if it
took half of
it took time. It took time. Like, and if your row was 5 seconds or 7 seconds slower over the course of 20 minutes, that adds up to a lot of hang power snatch you did not get done. Right. So I like that workout. Crash Crucible just happened. Were you able to watch any of Crash?
I did a little bit, just not a lot of it.
What events did you watch?
I like the llama.
The sled piece.
That was fun. And then I forget, they had a smart name for it, but the pegboard one.
Purgatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, the run, pegboard, run, cut rope, run, rope climb. Yeah. Did you realize when you watched that it was a choose your own adventure? So athletes could choose to do the pulling implement in any order.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely start with the pegboard. Me personally.
I think most people started with the pegboard. There was a couple guys who started with a cut rope, and I think there was a couple ladies who started with a cut rope. Max Krieg, I think. He started with the cut rope.
Okay.
And he actually put up a really good time. And in the interview afterwards, he said he just wasn't as comfortable with it. So he wanted to do it first before he had more pulling fatigue. And I was like, oh, that's a fair.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm sure he had more comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. And like kind of the same thing with Jacob. Like I had Jacob do the pegboard first, which just we have less reps on those and they're a little more taxing for him, even though you can use your legs.
Yeah.
It was just a little more
practice
taxing.
the least, basically, that's you start with.
Yeah. So
and most people don't have as much practice with pegboards as with rope climbs.
Right. Yeah. All rope climb variations. Cause you can kind of just figure out a cut rope, honestly.
Well, the thing is also like, because there are variable rope variations, you tend to do that more often than the one variation of pegboards.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't seen. I think there was one competition that had legless pegboards, right?
The games.
Yes.
It was in where it got harder every round. They had legless pegboard, and that was
this year, this Albany year.
No, that was
right.
Yeah, it was the last Madison year. So it was.
No,
it was the second to last Madison year.
2023.
I think so.
No, the second.
I don't think it was Kelly's year. Yeah, 2022. I don't think it was Kelly's year. I think it was 2022 when we had the team.
I must have been confused.
The individuals did it. I don't think the teams had did the teams have legless pegboard? They might have.
Oh, I remember now. I think they did.
Yeah. That was I think that's the only time the legless pegboard have been.
Yeah, and then I guess we haven't seen much of it in this side of the world, but the horizontal pegboard is another variation.
Yeah, I've only ever seen that at Rogan Elfit.
Yeah, it's more common in the other side of the
That
world.
half the world. Yeah. Crash was great. I watched most of it while Courtney and I were out vacationing. That's basically
Yeah.
what we did all day. We just sat around and watched Crash. But um, I think Crash was always really refreshing to see just a very different set of workouts. A lot of competitions and qualifiers. Obviously, every competition has its own flavor,
Mhm.
right? At TFX this year, we know there's going to be a 8-ish minute workout with a 4-minute rest followed by an 8-ish minute workout, or at least there's a very high probability because they typically do something like that, right? Every comp has their flavor, but JR's flavor is just so different. And he has access to, he has the flip sleds and the sleds and the pegboards and the cut ropes and the P bars and like all these different things. So it's just really fun to see kind of the programming and then see people do those workouts. Obviously, most of the athletes there are relatively very high level athletes. Even the athletes that qualify are very fit. They typically obviously don't do the best there, but they still are pretty good at doing those implements and things like that. So Jacob did well, 5th. So
That's awesome.
moving up, 9th last year, 5th this year. His 2 worst placings last year was a 23rd and a 26th, and his worst placings this year was an 11th and a 12th. And I was like,
difference.
okay, yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So
And that's what athletes sometimes don't realize. Like they're like, well, I didn't do that well, I didn't win. And I was like, yeah, but you're in a different space even.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if he would have gotten 4th or 3rd, but his leaderboard placings were like 2nd, 18th, 3rd, 15th, 2nd, 20th, or something like that would have happened. I think I would have walked away from the weekend like, we're still not, like, we need consistency in these things.
Big gaps, yeah.
Yeah. So he had fun though. It looked like a good time. Sad I didn't get to go out there this year, but oh well.
We did send the JR a message last podcast, so here's
we
hoping
did.
you listen.
Yeah. Please, JR, if you could not program or host Crash Crucible on the weekend or at or around the 18th of October. I don't know what weekend I don't know what the days and weekends are like next year, but that would be fantastic for me. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay. So other qualifier things? What other qualifier things? Fall qualifiers.
Wadapalooza?
Oh yes, Wadapalooza. I'm not intimately aware of their workouts. I didn't have anybody really doing it. One of our coaches, Dara, was doing it, and I talked to her a little bit throughout the week. But I feel like they were fine workouts. Nothing really.
A lot of them were like the very slowly increasing ladders.
Yeah.
Like the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it's kind of like requires a calculator to to figure out what you should get.
Yeah.
But by the way, just an FYI, the leaderboard just became unblind.
Oh, is that why your phone's exploding?
Yep.
Okay. I'll have to see where my guys fell.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say like I've seen a lot of. I haven't been following it intimately either, but I've got sent like a few workouts, and 2 of them were just like going up by 1 every single round. Like, yeah, that's fun when you do it, but as a coach, that's kind of like
those are the stressful ones to try to game plan.
Yeah,
and calculate like where you need to be on them.
Right. Transitions, all that. It's kind of like a merry-go-round, but with increasing fatigue.
Yeah, I did like the double under barbell complex one they had. I liked that.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Good little light to moderate weight grinder. Dude, you know what's gonna annoy me? So we have Orkin, like pest control, right? After the wasp situation. They were supposed to be here. They were supposed to be here at 10 for our scheduled thing. And I just got an email that said they're on their way.
Hmm.
I'm going to lose it if they show up during this podcast.
Oh.
I'm just not going to open the door.
I just love how left of a turn this took.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the email come through on my watch, and I was like, guys, come on. Anyways, all right. So we're gonna transition a little bit now. Qualifiers, all that stuff is kind of wrapping up. Bless the Lord. It'll be quiet for a couple months, relatively speaking. Wanted to kind of discuss and just go back and forth with you a little bit on periodization for athletes during this time of year / even the in season. Honestly, obviously in the in season, where athletes are peaking at some point for a competition, the open, semifinals, whatever, but they're still needing to progress things. But in this time of the year, I think is when athletes and coaches are sitting down and they're like, okay, we have A, B, and C we need to get better at, like really get better at. Mm-hmm. And for most people, those are not the same things, right? They're different energy systems. No, like athlete to athlete, but also just the athlete in themselves. Like, Jim needs to get his clean and jerk max up, and he also really needs to improve his 5K run.
Okay.
Right. These are not things that go the same direction, adaptation wise. These are competing adaptations, right? Mm-hmm. And I think something that, where I kind of wanted to start the conversation, and we discussed this a little bit earlier on the phone. I think a lot of coaches and athletes only think about periodization in a linear fashion, mm-hmm. like traditional classic linear periodization. You add reps or you add weight, or you decrease reps and you add weight as you go. And that is like how they progress almost all of their weightlifting and or a lot of their gymnastics, which there's a lot of value in simple linear progression for sure. Mm-hmm. I think what I want to start with and highlight is when you're trying to get two competing adaptations at the same time, and you're just trying to linearly progress intensity or volume of both adaptations, you're just continuing week to week to ask more from the different systems, and they're just going to fight each other harder for adaptation within the body. Mm-hmm. Go, your turn. Like, where do you sit with that? Like, where do you, like, is that something you've learned the hard way? Is that something you are really conscious of with people? Son of a bitch. Orkin's here, I bet. My dog's growling. Keep going.
Well, typically I won't have both as a linear progression. One of them will be a linear progression. One of them would be kind of a conjugate system. Mm-hmm. It's easier for me to use the conjugate system on non-weightlifting movements. So if somebody needs to improve their running, their rowing, their whatever, their gymnastics, I would like to attack that in multiple, like, kind of.
When you say conjugate system for running, because this is super intriguing to me, we've never talked about this. Are you thinking just like a long volume day, an intensity day, and a repetition day?
Yeah. Typically, if somebody is working on improving their capacity of running, it's going to be somewhere between a tempo run and an interval run.
Sure.
So like, hey, like if we're just running twice a week, we're going to run one day, we're going to run like a 20 to 30 minute at different paces, consistent, like continuously. Mm-hmm. And then one day we're going to run 800s or 600s, depending on the distance you're trying to improve. Right.
Right.
Gymnastics. One day we're going to go, we're going to go
I'll be back.
Okay.
Just keep talking. You're doing great.
Thank you. For gymnastics, let's say, for example, one day we're going to work on consistency. Like, hey, I want to always get to the set of toes to bar, and I want to be able to do sets of 10 toes to bar every time. Versus the other day, I'm going to have you go maximum set unbroken toes to bar, or as many toes to bar as possible in the same minute or in 1 minute. And then rest. So it would be like gymnastics intervals versus gymnastics consistency versus some accessory work that helps with gymnastics or that specific movement. So typically I would keep the simpler linear progression model for the lifting base, like your squats, your bench, your strict presses, your stuff like that. I will add accessories. I like to vary my accessories from week to week. And then I will push the other systems that are easier to manipulate when it comes to approach in order to improve your capacity, whether it's you're working on bigger sets, you're working on faster movement, you're working on faster paces, you're working on endurance, all that. They're here.
I'm back. They are here, but they're just doing exterior only, so we're good. We're Gucci.
Okay.
What did I miss?
I was just saying, like, for me, I like to stick with the simpler linear progression and the lifting base, but like for gymnastics and conditioning, I like to vary the approach because I feel like it keeps things a little more varied for the athlete and themselves as well, to not feel like, oh, I'm doing linear progression on chest to bar, I'm just adding 2 reps, I'm just adding whatever, or I'm just adding 800 meters to my endurance run or 5 minutes or something like that.
Interesting. We are complete opposites.
Yeah, you probably like to vary the lifting part and keep the other the same.
Dude, if you are like, hey, come up with some like undulating conjugate style repetition, like anything you want to do with strength stuff, I'm like, sick, got you. Watch this.
Yeah.
Like vary the fatigue week to week, vary the movements, like da 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 da. And then people are just like, OG Willikers, I got strong. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it for endurance stuff, I'm just like, run 500 more meters this week. Like, that's literally, I'm just like that's it. I'm just like, okay, cool. You did
more.
Yeah, just do more. Or they're like, it's like, oh, I ran this at an 8-minute mile. I'm like, fabulous. Now do it at a 7:55.
Run faster.
Yeah, like it was just funny. I didn't realize that like intuitively we had different kind of styles with
It's
that. I think
like
gymnastics, I'm a little more varied. But
preference you want, like, yeah, I was just thought, like, I was talking before you came back, so I like how, like, okay, one day I'll work on consistent sets of whatever skill, and then the other day I'll work on, like, hey, we're gonna go maximum broken,
yeah,
and then one day we'll go maximum repetitions in a minute, and so on, right? So like it's all feeding into the same movement, just in different ways.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the reason this is important to just kind of discuss and highlight, and we can maybe even go into like the nitty gritty a little bit for people on how we would actually do this, just kind of off the top of our head. But as you try to do more, like you try to do more work, you only have so much recovery per week, per day. And you also have only have so much meaningful training in you per day, right? So if you can understand, if athletes can understand, like, hey, like this is the focus and intention for today. This is the focus and intention for this day. And then knowing, and I think having confidence and faith, like, hey, just because we didn't linearly progress this lift this week, it's okay. It's part of the plan. It's not always that simple, right? Just because typically, like a linear periodization or progression on almost everything is just where people start, and that's great, and it's super valuable for new athletes and untrained people, you know, whatever. Like, and if you have been doing, like my example, if you have been doing some sort of a concurrent strength block with different things and da 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 da, and then you go into like a peaking block or whatever, there's a ton of value in after that just being like, hey, We're gonna keep it fucking simple.
Yep.
We're going linear. We're going percentage-based progression, just steady moving up the totem pole this week or this block, right?
Right.
Because you're getting kind of a different stimulus. So what's your structure for like, let's say gymnastics in your head? Are you just like, okay, week 1 max sets, week 2 consistency,
I like
week
to
3
start
like
with if I were to like start with an athlete I don't know,
sure.
I will like to start with a standard baseline of what's your max unbroken set, basically
Right.
for fatigue, right? So like we'll do that, we'll do it again, with some sort of conditioning or weightlifting to see how it, what numbers are we holding in metcons, basically.
Yeah.
Or what's the capacity, and then from there, it would be like in some capacity, I will have like the metcons based, or like, hey, I want you to hold X number of reps here unbroken every time. Right. And or I want you to break this into 2 sets or whatever. And then it would be like skill capacity will go like let's say a certain number, like let's say your max set was 20. I'll go like, okay, let's start with 12 unbroken, see if we can hold it for 6 sets.
Yeah, like 55-ish%, 60%-ish, depending on the time.
Yeah. And then like next week we'll go to see like, okay, now we're gonna remove the conditioning part and we're gonna see how many toes to bar you can get 1 minute on, 3 minutes off. Right. Like just like, okay, we'll see how muscle fatigue
Big
works
sets.
here. And like, no, it doesn't have to be unbroken. Just like we'll see how your recovery is, right, from a certain movement, because that ends up like being kind of what qualifier does to you. Qualifier workouts do to you. Or like they put you in a corner where like your muscle or your movement is failing.
Right.
And then I'll go back to like varying the stimulus before the skill and trying to make it a little bit more fatiguing, and then still pushing the same number, 12, right, for example.
Yeah.
And then like once I see that being something that's ingrained and comfortable, we push the number up a little bit, and then we'll go for that. And then eventually we retest the max unbroken set.
Yeah, you kind of like for the interference, you kind of start with like a opposing, or just like a global cardiac fatigue,
right,
and then get closer to more direct muscle interference.
Yeah. So for example, it'd be like, let's start with a run, and then we'll go to a little bit of an echo bike fast sprint, and then we'll go to a ski erg, and then we'll go to legless rope climb or rope climbs, all coupled with toes to bar. And those are very different, like fatiguing factors, right?
Right. Burpee box get overs.
Right.
Like, bar, like
just like the closer you get to, okay, we're gonna do like basically to where it's the same pattern, just different movements.
Right.
And can you hold on? Yeah.
You're increasing the kind of the muscular tension basically, and the interference. Yeah.
Pretty much.
No, I like that. I do that a lot with gymnastics too.
Yeah. And like without having to push the numbers too far off, like you can holding the same number across those different stimuli or different fatiguing factors will get you to improve your capacity regardless. So it doesn't have to feel like, oh, we're just going, like most people won't even notice that it's a cycle. Right?
Hold on, brother. Relax. Can you hear him?
Ferocious.
Dude, he talks a big game.
Yeah, if you guys have not met Ringo, what he sounds like right now is not what he acts like.
Not what he acts like at all. Well, actually, I think Addison, actually, that's who I was texting back. She just texted me and said she really wants to use one of the pictures of Ringo for the apparel. So
there we go.
I guess we're gonna do that. Anyways, yeah, I like that. And what's interesting is what you talked about with the gymnastics. I actually really like to do with barbell conditioning.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of almost play the same game.
Yeah.
And you're just slowly working toward more direct interference, right? I think one thing that would be important to point out with this is at no point, well, you did say AMRAP, but at no point were you just like, we're going to progress we're just going to do AMRAPs and 4-time workouts with toe to bar in them, right? There's you are in control of the amount of variables. Right. And you're doing it in an intelligent manner so that you're thinking about the stimulus you want, and you're staying in control with intervals or EMOMs or set rest or things like that. And for the example you made, it's a couplet.
Usually, yeah.
It's just a couplet. You don't need to reinvent the wheel and start adding in all these crazy movements or adding multiple compounding movements. Like, that's way down in the progression line, right? And at that point, you're almost just kind of doing conditioning.
It's
and
not a pure
metcon.
weakness anymore.
Yeah, you're not really just like singularly focused. Like, I was trying to write a workout this morning for one of my athletes. I wanted the point of the workout to the intervals to be the ring muscle ups or the training piece, but I needed to get in some echo bike and some burpees and some GHD, and it took me forever. It would have been so much easier if this athlete had the training time, and I could have just been like, you're going to do a workout with echo bike and ring muscle ups, and then you're going to do another workout with these other things, right? But I needed to make it work sensically, and it's just a lot easier if you just keep it a couplet or single modality and just work on developing the skill. And it's the same thing for barbell conditioning, right? Single modality barbell work, simple couplet barbell work is really, really good work to do if you have a really big weakness with barbell cycling. And then that obviously can blend into kind of pseudo strength work too, right? Like fatigued, moderate to heavy barbells and things like that. But I think the next thing that this kind of parlays to or transitions to is this conversation and these concepts is how you start to create a training program that is constantly varied but not random. And you can still make people better without just doing limiter progressions every week on everything, and that's super boring. Right? Because if we're like, okay, cool, week 1 is clean and jerk barbell cycling, and we have squat cleans before that, and then later on in the week we're going to do your toe to bar progression. We can look at these stimuluses and whatever like the squats are that week and this and the other, and I can say, okay, week 1 we're going to do like maybe a heavy single on the clean, or it's a heavy week, and we're going to do some really lightweight barbell cycling after echo biking to get in volume and touch and go work. The next week I can come back and say, all right, well, let's get in more traditional weightlifting work on the clean this week. We're going to get in some good triples, maybe some doubles, 70, 80%, nothing crazy, just good, honest, clean strength work. And then I can look at that barbell cycling piece I had and be like, okay, maybe we need to keep this a little more moderate and just keep the volume a little bit lower. Low to moderate volume. It's going to be more of a moderate day fatigue wise, rather than a high or a low fatigue, high CNS, and then high volume. And you can do these things and you can vary these stimuluses week to week. And if you can keep track of what's going on, and you know the end goal as a coach or an athlete, even programming for yourself, you can periodize those things in a longer cyclical manner, but you're touching all your bases and you're staying exposed to different stimuluses, so that you're not only doing triples on the clean for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, right? And to me, I feel like I want to talk about this. I just think it's so important, really, really, like it starts now, like I said, but really in the season. Because in the season, like once we get into January, like that's when we at Ascend consider kind of the in-season training starting. Like it's not that you're in season yet, but you're building aggressively toward the coming like open or quarterfinals or whatever, right? And that is the time where you're trying to push conditioning volume. You're trying to really like hammer these weaknesses, push your strengths, keep your strength metrics high, improve the ones that need to be improved. And if you can take a non-linear approach week to week, it's just so beneficial.
Yeah. And I feel like it also like it keeps the intensity up and the motivation up.
Yeah. It keeps it from being stale.
Yeah. It's like, I know what I'm going to do Wednesday, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And there are times, I think there are times when you need to just tell people like, hey,
Off season.
yeah. Or if it's like, if you have a situation where an athlete, it's like, look, dude, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Like, hey, I need you to squat 3 times a week. I'm sorry, but you need to squat 3 times a week.
Exactly. Yeah. And if we're squatting 3 times a week, like more than likely the progression is going to be pretty fucking simple.
Yeah.
Because
there's no room for creativity there.
Right. Like you could mess around and have like a
heavy day, a moderate reps day.
Yeah, a speed day. But at the end of the day, it's like
you're gonna have that every week though.
Basically, right? So yeah, you're still squatting 3 times a week. Even if you had a squat variation or a single leg variation, it's like, dude, we're pretty close to the source. Or even for skill development, I think that's something I don't know.
Oh yeah, I have people doing that. Like I have a girl that is trying to get her toes to bar for the past 3 or 4 weeks. She's been doing the same thing 3 times a week, and she's getting better.
Yes, it's like if I could shout this from the top of Mount Everest and every coach and athlete in the world would hear me. If you're not coaching a child, basically, you need frequency to develop skill.
And at some point, like especially in those scenarios where you're skill acquiring, I call that acquisition.
Yeah.
You don't even need to progress them.
No, you don't
need
even
enough volume in that capacity,
and you need the volume low per session so that they can do it right.
Right, quality of movement matters.
So you're the only way to get in the volume needed because you're an adult and your neuroplasticity sucks now, which is what happens to all of us, is frequency.
Yep,
frequency.
You know, like the best thing I could think of as an analogy here is if I ask you, Tristan, to start learning how to do a split.
I'm going to practice for like 2 minutes a day.
Right. But you're going to do it every day.
Every single day.
You're not going to add weight one day.
No.
You're just going to slowly work towards it.
Right.
The same way until you see some progress. And then we can start like adding a little bit and then adding a little bit.
So a great example of this at Crash, actually, there's a really young athlete. She's with Mayhem. Her name's Miley Wade. She did really good at Syndicate. I think she's still a teenager. I think she won the teenage games for her division. I think she's in the upper age division. Could be wrong. This isn't the point of the story. Nobody get mad and yell at me. Moon's going to research it.
Yep.
She did well at Crash. So she did the last event.
She did win the games at 16, 17.
16, 17. Okay. So she won her heat on the flip sled strict deficit handstand push-up event. I think it was the second or the third or fourth heat. I don't remember. And she put up a good time. And Savon and them were doing post heat interviews with everybody, the heat winners. And she was talking to them, and she was like, I worked really, really hard on this event, And I think she said maybe 3 weeks ago, she could not flip the flip sled at the weight they had to, like 400, 450 pounds. And she could not do a deficit parallel strict handstand push-up to 3 inches. And they were like, whoa, that's insane. The first thing that came to my mind was neuroplasticity. Like, being her age, she had the ability. She just didn't know how to do it. So in the time frame from when she couldn't do it to doing really well at Crash, if I had to guess, her coach, Dom, made her practice a ton. And she developed the motor pattern and skill of the movement to then express the strength and capacity she already had. And she was able to do it in like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, because she's so young.
Right.
And her brain is still so neuroplastic. Like, that is not what's going to happen to any of us that are in our mid 20s or 30s, right? Unless you're still incredibly athletic and you do a lot of different movements all the time, because that does help preserve neuroplasticity. But you just have to put in the reps. You just have to put in the reps. And the easiest way to do it is frequency. I don't even know how we got on skill acquisition and frequency, but
I mean, it's part of periodization.
I mean, yeah, like I have people who are working their ring muscle ups and stuff, and if I can make it fit, like make it make sense in their week,
yeah,
they're on the rings 3 days a week.
Yeah,
like
as long as it doesn't like rip their skin or anything like that.
Right, and if it makes sense with like other training priorities.
Volume.
Yeah, because there's always the juxtaposition with something like ring muscle ups where, okay, do we do more ring muscle up skill work or do we just do strict pull ups?
Right, more pulling.
Right?
Yeah.
Do we just get stronger? Because at the end of the day, that's probably the issue.
They'll both pour in the same cup.
Yeah, I mean that's why I put a story up yesterday on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it, but I basically said, if you haven't seen meaningful progress in your performance in a significant period of time, you probably need to A, get significantly stronger, or B, get significantly fitter. And even for gymnastics, like, yes, there's a skill component to that, but more than likely, if people improve, let's say for ring muscle ups, chest to bar and bar muscle ups, if you have the good movement pattern, if you improved your 1RM weighted pull up and max unbroken body weight pull ups, you'd probably be better at them.
This reminds me, like, for newer athletes who are still embarking upon their like RX debut, they remember that scene from Lion King where like everything under the sun,
Yeah.
and then there's a dark corner which is gymnastic strength.
Yeah.
It's just they don't touch that corner.
Yeah, literally. That is a great way to put it. And that's a lot of athletes. Like they just don't do gymnastic strength work.
Yeah, it's like they're not even aware that exists, and if they do, they don't want to do it.
And it, like, to me, I mean, our Sugarwod programs have body weight gymnastic strength work or bodybuilding style strength. Like it's a staple, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you keep from getting hurt. It's how you get better at the movements. Like it's also a phenomenal way to keep capacity in a movement when not doing as much volume of the movement.
Yep.
And build capacity of movement. It's just like,
also, it's a great way to look good.
Facts. I've never seen somebody who's good at ring muscle ups, like really good at ring muscle ups, who doesn't have some solid lats.
Yep.
Like it just doesn't happen.
You need him.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Like same thing with like, I mean, it's so funny because if anybody thinks about this with a barbell, they're like, oh, well, obviously, like if you're a good squatter, your legs are big for the most part, right? It's like, duh. Right. But then people don't think about that with gymnastics. They just get on the bar and flail around. And I'm like, dude, go do some strict pull-ups. Yeah. Like go do some strict press. Go do some bench press. Like that's what you need to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I think we actually covered that pretty well.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Any closing thoughts, closing notes, different periodization methods?
If you're intrigued by everything we said, I do recommend that you just come talk to one of us or another coach. Just you need a coach in your life.
Yeah, 100%.
Or you need to change the coach that has not talked to you about that.
Yeah, I would agree. If you're, man, especially like I know it's not this season, but I don't know why this has been on my mind so much. If you are like in a comp prep block, basically like getting ready for a competition and you're just trying to shove linear periodization of everything down your face, there's a better way, man. There's a better way. And because that's just so much.
Yeah. Especially like now we just finished qualifiers. It's time for you to be training smarter for your competition.
I don't know. This is a random question because I don't know if you view this way. Almost all my people, when they finish a qualifier, if it's a short qualifier, like everybody who did TFX, we started new strength progressions afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy. It's such a good time to just, all right. Like,
yeah, like let's just start over.
Let's just kind of reset things. Like Fittest to the Coast, not so much because it's so long. It's like, oh, well, kind of got to figure this out for a month. But yeah, this is a post qualifiers is a great time. You just got to look at the leaderboard, right?
Yep.
It's a great time to
reassess your fitness, your weaknesses, your strengths, and start from there.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Appreciate everybody who watches. Appreciate the couple people watching live. Check us out on Sugarwod Instagram. Our Instagram handles are there. Give us a follow at Ascend Athlete on Instagram. If you're interested in coaching, talking shop, any of those things, feel free to DM us or the Ascend page. Do the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Be on the lookout for our apparel coming soon.
Yeah, like
In a few
today.